Alright, hello everyone, this is Ryan Massey, and this is the Masters Games final presentation. Uh, was working with Zach Bazana this semester slash year. We've been building Masters Games. As last semester we covered the Connect 5 and the uh, music matching game, which we've renamed those games. Feel free to check out the Masters Games website at masters.us um, to look at the games and the new names and all that fun stuff. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Uh, for our agenda today, we're going to be looking at the previous versions and then see some videos of the gameplay of those earlier versions. Then we'll look through the code, and then we'll wrap up the presentation with some gameplay. Uh, Alright, and here we go. So how does Tetris work? You're given a blank grid, like a rectangle grid, and a random piece. The game is to take the random piece given and try to place on the bottom row, or the furthest down, um, till so you can clear out the row and earn points. Every row you clear out, you get 100 points. For once you've hit the bottom of the rectangle, the piece is locked in, and then a new row is put in, and once a full row has been filled in with no white spaces or black spaces, um, then you're good to clear out the row. You lose if there is no more room on the board and your pieces reach the top row. So my portion of the project was to develop game mechanics and converting Zach's portion into his graphic design into reality. And we shall look at the different ways to try to do it and so forth in a little bit. Alright, so with version 1, I tried to use an alternative way to try to build it without using the canvas and that sort of thing, as I thought that would be harder. The canvas wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Um, we go from that version that doesn't use canvas to a version that does. In version 3, the game grid and pieces show up on the canvas. Version 4, we're allowed to move left and right. Version 5 gets the collision to work with the other pieces on the board. We have a little video of that as well. And then on version 8, we the collision stops working, and there's some other issues that pop up when we try to fix that. And then we're up to our current version. Version 1, um, we had tried to use a grid system of 0 to 179, but as you can tell, that was a nightmare trying to figure out where the next piece should go and that sort of thing. So trying to keep track of all the numbers is really confusing there. Um, so all right, and then trying to update to draw. We had to calculate where each square in that piece where it would land on the board, and that was mind-boggling math. So all right. Version 3, we get a nice grid using the canvas, and we'll talk about the canvas in the next video. Um, in this version, we get the grid to show, you use it left, right, and down buttons are starting to work there. I think no, that doesn't work yet. Version 4, we do. There we go. Now get the piece at the bottom, and the piece stays. Version 5, we have made the grid bigger. We add some colors to the different pieces, figure out how to lock the game into place, and getting the collision to start. We were trying to work on that. And here's a little video of the. I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard to do the maneuvering around. Um, but yeah, that worked. So in this version, we could not rotate, but we didn't put that part in there yet. So this is where it gets a little tricky with all the game pieces. The, the yeah, and yeah, that six piece is a definitely hard to work with. And yep, and the row clears, and that piece does not help with that once you've tried to find an even spot for to put it in. So, all right. So that's version 5. And now on to version 8. This version, we had an issue with collision, where you'll see how that board issue is. Um, Pieces were stopping in strange places. One piece goes off the board where I had no idea where it went to. It's like, hello, adios. Um, so we'll start that. Um, and there we go. That was another issue. Yeah, so we've got that in there, and game pieces are. Um, that's just really weird how this piece just goes off the board, and I don't know how to try to bring it back, but it couldn't. And then the actually kind of another game going to where actually the pieces start trying to collide, and that one didn't go off the side of the page this time. Um, and this one came down. And you can see there where I was trying to go over to the left, and it wouldn't let me any further. But if I rotated, it would show up there. So that was our issue with that. Then the next issue, which will be coming up, was trying to get that piece should go right where it's coming down at, but it didn't. It stopped there instead of in the next row, so we weren't quite sure how to get around that. And then we've got that two piece. It should have, yeah, it didn't go all the way down there, so that was our issue with that. But also, and then yeah, it's so strange how your piece like that blue piece is actually cutting through the orange, which shouldn't have happened. So, all right. Oh, and then all right. And then we've got our current version here, which we will show later at the end. Um, it has the logo in there and better buttons, and we've actually changed it even a little bit more since this version of of where that screenshot was taken. But all right, and then we'll be back with our next video to talk about the code.